Ooh, come on. Come on. Ooh, yeah. Live your dreams. Live your dreams. It doesn't matter what nobody else say. You can be what you wanna be. Take time to love every part of you. Don't let nobody tell you nothing else about loving you. Discover yourself. Discover yourself. Hello, and welcome to the first annual Women's Conference presented by Supreme Podcast. Welcome to Discover You Podcast. How is everybody doing? Today we are gathered here to open up today's podcast, Discover You, where you're empowered today, beautiful today, and you're loving today. I am your host, Queen Supreme, and I am delighted and delightful to have you join me today as we uplift women and ourselves in every way. A quote from E.E. Cummings: "The hardest challenge is to be yourself in a world where everyone is trying to make you be someone else." I want to welcome everyone to the first annual Discover You Podcast Women's Conference, and I'm your host, Jessica Giles. And we're here to uplift, fellowship, understand, and bring awareness. Today is a new beginning and a new journey for your life. So let's start by trusting ourselves to at least try. Fear is simply just not trying. A quote from myself, Queen Supreme. And word of the day is create, to make up, or to be creative as plural. Color of the day is white, which is pure, and the meaning, which is holy or pure. It's time to take the first step, so let's go right ahead. Everyone has social skills, and social skills are sometimes for other people, they come later than others. But for many of us, they come right on schedule, as in junior high school. So with that being said, many of us are peer pressured to be in social circles that we may not fit in at first. So it's just all about how you perceive people and how much of a people person you are. When it comes to social skills, your listening is an ability to take you far, as well as your communication, body language, and the way you do slang or jargon. My reason for talking about social skills today is because sometimes we forget social skills on our own self, and we forget how to communicate with our bodies and our minds, and we don't really communicate effectively. And this may stem from being socially awkward at the age of 9, 10, 11, or 12, or maybe not being a social butterfly till later on in life. Whichever one you were, social is a part of you, so embrace it, love it, and also always be skillful. You can talk the talk and you can walk the walk. So next is acceptance. You want to always accept yourself before you can be able to explore the avenues of accepting another person and their lifestyle. It's always important to be happy with you. And acceptance comes from inner peace, which meditation can bring upon, as well as prayer and journalism and self-talk, positive talk at that. When you are overcoming fear, be fearless. Always know that whatever step you take is better than the step that you are already in. Coping skills. I use coping skills whenever I'm in a situation that I'm not familiar with and I feel like anxiety is about to take over. So I embrace you guys to try breathing exercises as well as counting backwards from 10. Or you can always go get some fresh air. But coping skills allow you to be able to cope with things in life that you normally are not trying to cope with. A lot of fear of coping would be an overwhelming problem or the problem keeps occurring. With females, it's more of an emotional coping sense as opposed to men. So with women, I embrace you and tell you always find a coping mechanism for every problem or situation because you never know what can come up and can trigger you emotionally. I want to also thank everyone who helped sponsor and share this women's conference. And we'll be right back after this. Live life to the fullest and always stay positive. No matter what they say, you can do anything. If you're going through hard times, keep your faith. You got to enjoy life. Thank you. And you have joined Discover You with your host, Queen Supreme. And if you're just now joining us, we are loving ourselves and discovering our new journeys in life, which is embracing who we are for who we are. Part of discovering you is also being able to accept the things that you cannot change. And if you cannot change some things, it may not be meant for you to change them. So always think of things in a 360 circle. Some things are meant for you to change and some things are not. So be careful what you're up against because women, we are empowered, but we are sensitive. And many times we may take things the wrong way and we may hold that in and have resentment. Communication is the key. Understanding is the key. And the beginning of your life starts now. Let's get back to our first steps. Education about a specific mental health condition. Mental health comes and goes in our lives. For many people, they never leave. Mental health could be a personality disorder or a depression or anxiety. Any one of those things or more. It's important that you speak out, that you talk to someone Even someone that you don't know would be more comfortable to talk to, like someone at church or a school counselor, maybe even a boss or a coworker. But one thing you don't want to do is hold it in. That takes the blemishes away. And there's nothing wrong with blemishes, because blemishes make golden pieces once they're polished. Just always remember that you do not have to be perfect to be in good health. You just have to be healthy. That's setting boundaries. When the first step of setting boundaries is to understand when there is a boundary setting situation. So if someone oversteps your boundaries that they're unaware of, it's best that you make sure you put them in place in a respectable manner. This is also loving yourself. And this is most important when dealing with relationships of the opposite sex. It's okay to have fun, but setting boundaries also makes a lot of noise for respect, and you always want to be respected as a woman. Developing self-worth and self-confidence. I love this first step because it taught me positive attributes. Writing down positive things about myself, seeing them in the mirror, carrying them around with me. And when I was nervous about a job interview or about public speaking, or about meeting someone for the first time, I was always able to pull out that list and remind myself what I love about me. And there's always something you should love about yourself. So try that exercise when you get home. Write down 3 to 6 steps that you love about yourself. So it could be your smile, your eyes, your quirky laugh, or your long legs, jumping into Jeopardy. Whatever it may be, you're all beautiful in every way. And the last first step is dealing with anger issues. Anger issues build up when things are not taken care of, like doors are closed and supposed to be locked before moving on to the next thing in your life. So a lot of anger and resentment comes from being angry at yourself, beating yourself up for thinking you should have known something was going to happen, or it should have been a sign. That's not your fault. Everything is not always supposed to be a sign or a red flag, and some things do catch you by surprise. The important thing is that you caught the act, you got away from the act, and you got better. But did you really get better if you're holding it in? Anger, it takes way more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So smile and laugh and forgive yourself and forgive other people so you can deal with your anger and the issues that really lie. We're going to talk a little bit about goal setting, budgeting, and savings. It's a girl's thing to shop till she drops, but is that always what we do? Sometimes we shop because we're emotionally going through something, maybe a boyfriend problem, or maybe a husband issue, or maybe just not getting along with your parents. Whatever you do, shopping relieves everything. And I'm a full believer in that, even though I know it's not a good thing. I know. But it's a coping mechanism. But sometimes when it comes to shopping, we go a little bit overboard. And ladies, just want to let you know, it's a thing about coping, and it's a thing about not being able to pay your bills because you shop. Goal setting is a really big thing for me. I like to set goals and set time ahead to be able to budget and save. It's important to me that all my bills are paid, and that's number one in my book when it comes to me being happy. But for you, it may be something else. Whatever it is, set goals around it and timelines. Make sure that they're realistic goals, and always save. Budgeting, you can never get enough of. And I'm not talking about coupon budgeting. I'm talking about skipping, eating out budgeting for probably an old college meal we used to make. Maybe a spread or ramen noodles. Never know. You can get creative with things in your cabinet. But when it comes down to happiness, you always want to be financial debt free. I want to thank you guys, and we're going to take another break, and we'll be right back on Discover You.
I know for a fact about loving me. All you gotta do is keep on lifting your energy. You got to love you. Discover yourself. No matter what go on in your life, discover yourself. Yeah. Discover yourself.
Thank you. We are back, and this is Discover You, loving yourself in many different unconditional ways. And we already talked about our first steps, so we should be a little warmed up, and we talked about goal setting and how to goal set when it's convenient for you. Let's go ahead and talk about self-love and the meaning. You want to practice mindfulness, and it's a great way to start practicing self-love. Practice living in the present, and it's similar to like a meditation. And the difference is practice with people who aim for the same things that you're aiming for. Dive into any aspect of your life, no matter what it is, and be mindful of the techniques you encourage. Deep breathing, conscious appreciation of the world around you. Go somewhere in a different environment you haven't went, probably a park or maybe a museum, and try that out and see how you like it. I sometimes I do something out of the way. I may go walking around the block or something, but I'd be tired. But I'd be like, okay, it was something. It made me feel better. It made me feel better though. I'd be feeling better. But don't overdo it, Don't overdo it. You might want to start exercising, running, jumping, sit-ups, anything as far as like getting your mind off of stress. I would recommend studying for some people. It just depends on how you study. Or just kick a movie in, but always practice mindfulness. And one thing about mindfulness that I've always thought is that when it comes to self-love, mindfulness reminds me of loving me no matter what, through the good times and through the bad times. So mindfulness is the practice of self-love for me. And what is your inner peace? What gives you peace? What gives you confidence? If you are lacking some of these answers to these questions, then you might want to take the Dina Ackler Love Questions. And it's kind of like a little thing that you take, and it's questions about your self-love, your spirit, I can't talk, your spirit and your wellness, as well as maybe working out or being in your lifestyle. So, it's a very good website, and it's 25 self-love questions to ask yourself to know that if you are really in that self-care, self-development, because you're only happy unless you know you are happy. And if you're not happy, you can always improve it. There are so many different resources and ways that you can get in touch with yourself. So what is self-love? And self-love is all about taking care of your body and your mind, as we already spoke about. It's always about acknowledging the good things that you have, even if they're small. You deserve self-love because, you help life in every possible way. You give life, you nurture life, you teach life, your life. So self-love is need to be practiced as much as possible, accepting your flaws as well and loving who you are. You can always be kind to yourself. And like I said, forgive yourself for things that you cannot change. Whatever makes you unique, that's what makes you. And don't never change that. And always have a healthy relationship with yourself before you can have a healthy relationship with anybody else. You have to be confident in the skin that you're in. Things that are not self-love. Self-love is broad in a sense of when it's not self-love, it's meaning loving yourself unconditionally. And when you're not doing that, that means you're looking at your flaws and, you're being selfish or narcissistic. You're doing things that are unhealthy for you or your family. And you don't like the way you look, the inside or the out. And that's when you know that that's not self-love. Here are some tips for every day, just going through life. In the morning, give yourself 30 minutes before. Write down your thoughts of how you feel. Write down what you want to eat and make sure it's nurturing. Things that go into your body are healthy for you. Always keep your body checked up. Fuel your body with healthy things, especially if you're going to have a long day and you're going to be burnt out at the end of the day. Move your body every day, no matter what, and practice self-compassion. Allow yourself to make some mistakes so you can be able to learn and grow from them. Don't compare yourself to anyone else because that's not the way God intended. Don't fall into compassion traps where you feel like that you have to upstand someone else because your uniqueness makes you who you are. And you got to love that. Remember, the most important thing is to always do TLC every day to yourself, tender love and care. It's not a chore. It doesn't cost any money, and you will enjoy it in the end. What does love mean to you? What does self-love mean to you? And how do you show love to yourself? What are some ways you practice self-love on a daily basis? And what do you like about yourself and why? What are you most confident about and what are your strongest skills? What do you most dislike about yourself and why? And why do you dislike yourself really, honestly, truly? Or do you just believe that someone else doesn't like something about you and that's why you don't like it? What are your limiting beliefs? And what are you holding back from loving yourself more about? What inspires you? And what happiness means to you? And how can you add to that in your life? The next time you make a mistake or you have a negative thought about yourself, remember these questions because self-love is self-care. And you always want to be motivated and on top of your game. I am your host, Queen Supreme, and this is Discover You. And next Friday, we will be talking more about you. Discovering you is inner peace. And what's inner peace without sleep? So y'all have a great weekend and love one another, but most of all, love yourself.